Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather next week's 10 days. So today's second video, which takes us towards just about, I think, the second week of August. So we've released the ECMWF 30-day look ahead, and that's taking us into the sort of final stages of August. Actually, takes us to the 25th of August, and it looks quite cool and quite unsettled, certainly through the first half of August for much of Europe. So have a look at that when you're done with this video, see what's going on. We're going to have a look at in detail weather next week, 10 days and beyond. We're going to send out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles. We're going to be a little update this evening, looking at some events, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. I think that's something like the 8th to the 11th. 8th to the 11th of August. We've got Bristol Balloon Festival going on then, and also Boomtown, which is a festival. So more about that in today's third video update. Properly going through the events now. I was having a look at the events page at Gazzo's the other day, and we haven't got all that many left actually for summer events. Winding down the clock almost, you would say, towards the end of the festivals and event season. The last one is kind of like the first weekend of September, I think. And then once that's done, then that's it really. So we are beginning to move into final stages of the summer now, can you believe? Certainly when we get into August, we can say that we are moving into late summer. Right, talking of summer, and we've got confirmation from the UK Met Office that that temperature that we had on Thursday last week was in fact a new UK temperature record. So yesterday the UK Met tweeted this breaking news: a new UK temperature record of 38.7 Celsius has been confirmed. The reading at Cambridge Botanic Garden has been quality controlled and is officially the highest temperature on record in the UK. Hashtag UK hottest day, and there it is. There's the temperature at Cambridge University Botanic Gardens, 38.7, highest UK temperature recorded on Thursday, 25th of July 2019. There's quite a bit of debate and controversy going on online about this in terms of the station itself. So I can only say what the UK Met have tweeted. They have confirmed that it meets their quality control, and so therefore it beats the previous record, which I think was 38.5, so only 0.2 of a degree above the previous record, but it does beat the previous record, 38.5, set at Brogdale on the 10th of August 2003. Of course, that was pretty controversial as well. There was a big debate about that at the time, taking it away from Gravesend and more reliable, which also was a bit controversial, I remember. More reliably, 38.1 at Kew Gardens was the one that a lot of people sort of accepted back in 2003. But Brogdale was the previous record holder at 38.5 on the 10th of August 2003, beaten by 0.2 of a degree by Cambridge University Botanic Garden. That will stand as our highest temperature in the UK. 38.7 is nearly, I think, about 102 Fahrenheit, certainly getting on 102 Fahrenheit, so it's a very, very hot and high temperature indeed. Seems like we break these temperature records once a decade. So the first time we broke it was in 1990, August 1990, broke the long-standing record, which I think was set before that, back in 1911. So first time we broke the UK temperature record was back in 1990, then 13 years on to 2003, and now 16 years on to 2019. So it certainly isn't something that we do very often, and this record may well stand for quite a long while. Maybe it may stand for a decade or more. But then again, you never know. We might break it next year. Who knows whether he's always finding ways to surprise us and catch us out. But in any case, Cambridge University Botanic Garden is, or was, the hottest place in the UK recorded. Of course, other place might be hotter, but was hottest recorded place in the UK on Thursday, with a maximum temperature of 38.7, which is the highest temperature ever recorded in the UK. Very different out there today. It's a lot cooler and a lot more unsettled. This is the latest radar picture from the Weather Outlook. We was expecting a very showery day. Indeed, that is what we've got. Very, very vibrant and intense colours here on the radar picture, indicating there are some really heavy and thundery and torrential downpours in places, and there are thunderstorms as well. Lightning detector is flashing away there, particularly across northern England, North Wales, and down into the Northern Midlands. Some really, really intense lightning taking place up there. The biggest area of thunderstorms appears to be this area just here. Let's zoom in a little bit. It's stretching kind of like from Lancaster over towards here, which is going over towards Northallerton. So over Pennines, basically, it looks like that's where the most intense area storms are. But there's big downpours in other areas too, just there in the North Midlands. Got some really big downpours, and over in Wales as well. So it's a lively afternoon, also down here into the West Midlands too. It's a lively afternoon. There's big downpours, torrential rain and thunderstorms in places, and we do see, however, that east parts of the country where we was expecting it to be a bit drier, that is indeed the case. The far east, there are fewer showers there. There's some showers across East Anglia, but we always thought they would be fewer in number and less intense. That's how it's worked out. So overall, I think Stormwatch, which we released last night, has come out quite well. Not many showers in Northern Ireland or Scotland. That was expected too. So I think Stormwatch should come out quite well. Now, there will be more downpours around through the course of this afternoon and into this evening. Some of these downpours, as we've established, are giving lightning, thunder and hail as well. And don't be at all surprised if there's flash flooding on some of the roads. The roads may be awash as you run into these downpours. So if you're off out and about this afternoon, do take it easy on the roads and be careful. Now we've got Euro 4 at Meteo Seal. Remember when we do things like Stormwatch and Snowwatch, we usually look at Euro 4 at Weather Online. We will carry on looking at Euro 4 at Weather Online, but they have incorporated Euro 4 now into meteoseal.fr. So thought I'd just show you this to flag up the fact that Euro 4 is included at Meteo Seal. So this is the latest rainfall forecast from Euro 4 for today. This is at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You see you've got these intense showers here. First line is across northern England, more following on behind across the rest of England, and particularly over towards Wales. I think that's a pretty good reflection where we are right now. That's how things are looking by 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So by then, really big downpours again covering much of England and Wales. The intensity of the colour depicts the fact that the showers are more intense, if you like. So the brighter the colour, the heavier the rainfall being forecast. There's some very intense and vibrant colours mixed in there. You will notice, let's go back. So there's some very intense and vibrant colours mixed in there across England and Wales, indicating the risk of really torrential downpours and violent storms and showers in some places. They rumble on into the evening, and even overnight, actually, they keep going, particularly across the northern parts of England into the North Midlands. We keep these heavy downpours going, northern England down into North Wales and some parts of the North Midlands as well. And then on into tomorrow, downpours continue in the northeast, maybe affecting other parts of Scotland too. But you'll notice where we have had the worst of downpours this afternoon, across Wales, parts of south west England, up in towards Midlands. Those sort of areas are a little bit drier tomorrow, so it's a little bit more in the northeast through the course of tomorrow, but we have the risk of more downpours and possibly some thunderstorms as well. That's Thursday as far as we can go. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday, and by then the showers are much fewer in number and they're lighter as well, but there are still a few there across the eastern side of the country. Anyway, do check out Euro 4 at Weather on at Meteo Seal, as well as Weather Online. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. The red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Manchester. We're looking at Manchester today, and we're starting off close to average at Manchester at the moment. We're going to keep temperatures close to average really through the first week of August, maybe ever so slightly above average, but it's not a big deviation. We're keeping the temperature pretty close to average through the next week. As we go into a second week of August, this period just here, possibly signs that the temperature's actually dropping a little bit then. Maybe going from slightly above average with the upper air temperature through the first week of August, slightly below average through the second week of August. Throughout it all, there's loads of precipitation. So that really is the story over the first half of August, I think. Look how many precipitation spikes we have. There's lots of them. They're very frequent. So it does look as though we're going into quite a wet spell. There's a couple of drier days flagging up here around sort of 1st, 2nd, maybe 3rd of August. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just a little bit drier then. But after that, from around Sunday onwards, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, from around it's dry from around Sunday onwards through next week to second week of August. It does look very unsettled with lots of precipitation spikes. That's the Manchester, so it's one of the wetter areas of the country. This is for London, though. You see, it's a very similar sort of story, really. So, again, not too many precipitation spikes. So it's around the 4th of August, which is Sunday. But after that, it gets increasingly unsettled. It does look as though we have pretty good confidence now that we are going into a much more unsettled spell of weather through the course of next week and taking us into the second week of August, potentially. Temperature anomalies from the 30th of July to the 7th of August, close to or a little bit above average. So temperatures are holding up okay. Nothing particularly hot, of course. We're certainly not going back to anything hot. But temperatures holding up okay for a while, but even they might start to slide away, actually, by the time you get through to the second week of August. Notice how cool or even cold it's looking across much of western Russia. They really are having a very, very chilly summer. We've been talking about the heat, of course, across many central western parts of Europe. Being totally ignored, really, is how cool it's been across many western parts of Russia, and that goes on for the week ahead. So, very, very chilly conditions over there. Precipitation anomalies on the 30th of July to the 7th of August. Bit above average, which you'd expect given that ensembles you're looking at. And I suspect these may well trend even wetter over the coming days. That's how the GFS is looking for Friday. We're generating a ridge down across the country from the main blocking area of high pressure that's sitting to the north. This blocking features around with its extensive northern block. It is sending a ridge southwards into west of Europe. So this is where our drier couple of days come from, Friday, Saturday. But you see, by Saturday already, low pressure is beginning to get itself together out in the Atlantic. And this area of low pressure then through Sunday and on into Monday starts to move its way in from the Atlantic. That's bringing outbreaks of rain with it, and we go into the middle part of next week looking increasingly unsettled. Low pressure sitting just to the west of Ireland will be throwing up showers or longer spells of rain. Initially, the temperatures are still holding up okay because they're sort of southwesterly. We're sort of southwesterly with the wind. So although it's an Atlantic flow, it's a relatively mild or possibly even quite warm Atlantic flow. So for a while, temperatures continue to hold up okay. I mean, we're not talking about anything particularly warm or hot, but they hold up sort of low 20s, I suspect, and when the sun's out, possibly get to mid-20s. But by the second half of next week, even that southwesterly begin to get cut off as this low pressure just sort of deepens around the country. So eventually by day 10, which is Friday the 9th of August, not only do we look very unsettled with quite a bit of rain, we're also then starting to pull in much cooler air from the north and the northwestern part of the Atlantic into this area of low pressure. So it just goes from bad to worse, really, as we go through the first week to 10 days of August. And we keep this very unsettled weather going with low pressure always in control right way up to the middle of the month. This gets us to Thursday the 15th of August, and we're looking very unsettled. In fact, you would say quite autumnal there by the middle of August. August is one of those months where when it's hot, it can be very hot, but when the weather is poor, it can actually be quite a miserable month, August, when you've got cloud and rain. The sun is rapidly through the month losing its strength, so the air begins to get damper, if you like, and starts to cool down when it's unsettled. And August can be a month where if it's unsettled and it's wet and it's overcast a lot of the time, it can, especially later on in the month, it can actually be surprisingly autumnal. Anyway, by Thursday the 15th of August, we look very unsettled. Low pressure is in control and it's bringing outbreaks of rain and strong winds. This is a very long way out. It's over 2 weeks away, so it might be wrong, of course, but that's how it's looking today. This is the GEM. Again, there's our sort of drier interlude at the end of the week. This little ridge building down across the country from the northern blocking, of course. That gives us a couple of drier and pretty warm days for Friday, Saturday. I think we'll see temperatures mid-20s, so 25 degrees, maybe 26, quite widely on Saturday afternoon. It will be very pleasant into the upper 70s Fahrenheit. But again, by the time you get through to Sunday and into Monday, here comes this low pressure moving in from off the Atlantic. That will bring cloud and rain with it, particularly wet to the northwest, perhaps not quite as wet down to the south and southeast, but all places would be turning more unsettled. And then again, through the week, same idea as the GFS, really, the weather just deteriorates as next week goes along with these areas of low pressure heading in off the Atlantic. That's how we look by the time we get through to Friday the 9th of August. Low pressure just down to our southwest, quite a deep area of low pressure, and that will be sending cloud and rain with it. There might be a warm sector ahead of it that could pull up some temporary warmth from France, but overall it's an unsettled weather pattern with spells of rain very likely. This is the ECMWF. Again, there's that little bit of a ridge giving us a drier and warmer interlude at the end of the week. That ridge is still there on Saturday. By Sunday, beginning to break the ridge down as we go into next week. Again, low pressure moving in off the Atlantic. Maybe a little bit slower with the ECM to move that low pressure in off the Atlantic, but certainly by midweek we are into an unsettled weather pattern with showers or longer spells of rain, and then we keep that unsettled weather going up to day 10, which is Friday the 9th of August. Low pressure's in control, so you would expect showers, if not longer spells of rain. With that one, these are the options that we've got on the table within the ECM ensembles. So this is the option that we've got on the table in the ECM ensembles for day 10 via the Icelandic Met Office. That's the 9th of August. And we see we've got blocking areas of high pressure up to our north, a large area of high pressure blocking still around Greenland. Low pressure is underneath it through the Atlantic, so looking cool and looking unsettled. With that, you would expect spells of rain to be moving in from off the Atlantic Ocean with that. As we get to 2 weeks' time, which gets us to the 14th of August, this is how we're looking. Again, bit of a blocking area of high pressure up to the north. Otherwise, perhaps a few hints at heights are rising a little bit. So there's some yellow down here, possibly indicating the Azores high starting to ridge in towards France. It might be starting to send the jet stream a bit further north. So possibly by the middle of August, the ECM hints, no more than that, hints, it might be starting to turn a little bit drier and a little bit more settled by then. But certainly up to the middle of August, it does look as though we have increasingly unsettled weather, particularly actually through that second week of August. Let's extend out and have a look at the CFS. So this is how CFS is looking for the next 4 weeks. These are 500 millibar heights. They're broken down into weekly periods. The first weekly period will take us from the 30th of July to 5th of August. The coming week has northern blocking dominating around Greenland and Iceland, with low pressure to the south and to the southwest. Deep troughing across western parts of Russia. That's what's bringing those very cool temperatures down into the west of Russia. And they've been stuck under that trough for several weeks, really having a very, very cool and miserable summer in the west of Russia, and at times into the northeast of Europe too. For us, well, it's turning increasingly unsettled, probably as that low pressure begins to develop in the Atlantic. By the time we get through to week 2, they have a very unsettled signal. This is the 6th to the 12th of August. Low pressure is really rolling in off the Atlantic as we go into the second week of August. It does look very unsettled then. Week 3 is going to be the 13th to the 19th of August. Trough of low pressure is almost over the top of the UK. We do lose that northern blocking, so that begins to go, but doesn't really stop us from being in this unsettled pattern. We've got above average heights in the middle of the Atlantic as well, so not only is that unsettled, it's also probably quite cool, bringing in the wind from a northwesterly direction and aligning the jet stream northwest to southeast. And then finally we get through to week 4, and it's getting us towards the end of August. It's the 20th to 26th of August, and that trough is still there, stuck over the top of the UK and Western Europe. A ridge in the middle of the Atlantic, and just looks very unsettled and probably very cool too. This ridge here in the east and the southeast of Europe, that will pull hot air up out of Africa and push it northwards into the eastern part of Europe and maybe into western Russia. So by the end of August, possibly things are warming up a lot, western parts of Russia. But for us over in the northwest of Europe, it looks pretty cool and pretty unsettled. Just to finish off with this, there's not all that much going on in the tropical Atlantic at the moment. This is from the National Hurricane Centre. We have got 2 areas of interest. They are both these 2 yellow X's, one there, one just there. We talked about this yellow X just here in the Caribbean yesterday. There's not really been much development on that. I won't read you the whole report today from the National Hurricane Centre. It's disturbance 1. They're saying that for the next 48 hours there is a 0% chance of this becoming a cyclone, a tropical storm in other words, and in the next 5 days it only has a 10% chance of becoming a tropical storm. It's sort of an area of showers and thunderstorms there, so it doesn't look like that one's going to be doing much. We have this one over here towards Africa as well. This is our first disturbance area, I think, that we've had in this area. Of course, the typical path of tropical storms and hurricanes is that they form as thunderstorms and areas of showers around here off the coast of Africa, and then they move through the tropical Atlantic, picking up energy as they do so, and then can either go in that sort of direction or do something a bit like that, or do something a little bit like that. So, as tropical storms and even hurricanes. Now, this yellow X is our first one, I think, in this area just here. Let's have a look at what they're saying about that first one this season. It's disturbance 2. And again, it only has a 0% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours. So it's not doing anything other than showers or storms in the next 48 hours. But it has a 20% chance of becoming a cyclone for the next 5 days. They say a tropical wave accompanied by a broad low pressure system continues to produce a large area of cloudiness and disorganised shower activity over the far eastern tropical Atlantic, a few hundred miles south of the Cabo Verde Islands. That's kind of like the breeding ground for a lot of these storms and cyclones that develop. They say over the next few days there's no significant development of this system expected for the next few days while it moves westwards at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Upper level winds could become more conducive for development by the weekend while the wave continues to move westward across the central Atlantic. So again, it could be something to keep an eye on. By the weekend it might start to develop a bit, but before then it doesn't look like it'll do a great deal. But we shall keep a close eye on it. Of course, the further into August we go, the greater the chance that we start to get these storms, hurricanes forming. And then that's particularly the case we get to September and into October. And that's one of the reasons why model reliability, as these systems begin to develop, model reliability will drop through August and particularly so through September. September is always, or nearly always, a very challenging month to forecast, both in short and long range timescales. And the main reason for that is that we have these big low pressure areas that are tropical storms or hurricanes in the tropical Atlantic, so that always has a knock-on effect to everything else that's going on, particularly in the northern hemisphere, and so the models have a job to place where those storms are going to be, how they develop, and all that sort of thing, and that has knock-on effects for us, which means that my job gets more challenging as we get through August and into September. Right, that's it for your video for today. We'll be back tonight looking at the weather for those events I spoke about from around the 7th, 8th of August to around the 11th. There's some events going on, so we'll see what weather could be doing over that weekend in our third video this evening. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.